to your personal practice as an intellectual, as a historian, as a Nigerian, as an African, so there is this phenomenon of the brain drain out of Nigeria, out of Africa, that in some ways the best that we have to offer now are located outside of Nigeria and Africa. Do you have practical suggestions? And I know that you said something about spending half of the year effectively in Nigeria, going back to your roots. But on a broader level, do you have practical suggestions for how to reverse the negative effects of the brain drain across various disciplines and professions in Nigeria and Africa?
So, Africa has been a continent of movements. That is how it's been constituted for a long time. The area of Cameroon, Nigeria produced the Bantu movement that ultimately led to what we call Southern African places like that. And internal migrations are common. When Boutros Ghali was sacked as Secretary of the United Nations, he was looking for something valuable to do with his time. And he set up the Afro-Arab Summit, of which once in a while I was drafted into. And Mrs. Mubarak was a host. Around that region alone, 2 million people move in a year. Remember Palestinians doing manual labor. So we have massive internal movements. Then 13.5 million between the 15th and the 19th century, they moved. Their muscle power was needed. And then we had small number diaspora of colonization. And beginning from the Nigerian Civil War, the number began to increase. Somalia, moving to Minnesota, part of Boston, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Ethiopia, Eritrea. So those movements have been there. Are they going to stop? They won't stop because of the demand supply push factor. The specific segment of your interest are skills, brain power. The previous one was muscle power. And now we have brain power thrown into academic plantations. Because there are different forms of plantations. One is just enforced and the other is voluntary. Can you stop it? No. Because individuals look for the best for themselves in society. Or societies where they think they can use their skills to maximize their own earnings and potentials. That's one side. Second, where they are going, they are not doing them a favor. Canada is not doing anybody a favor. US is not doing any Nigerian a favor. UK looking for school teachers and doctors is not doing anybody a favor. They are meeting the contingencies of their own labor shortage. Today, there's a massive labor shortage of IT in Germany. They are very generous towards our people. And they are having declining population. Part of what we call the abortion debate in the US People don't understand that debate very well. Is to say white people produce more kids so that you are not going to become minorities in your country. So there is that demand sector, which is not going to stop until the need for that labor reduces. But there are shortages in low-level jobs in medical fields, shortages in low-level jobs, security and cleaning. These are massive shortages. In the state of Texas, Austin is a full employment city where I live. We don't have people to do small jobs. They would ask you for $20 an hour. They are looking for thousands of people to manage children with disability, all forms of disability. So the consequences now, which is not what we're talking about, is that Africa is now a major supplier of technical aids to the US and to Europe. We are the one actually giving them aids. It's not the other way around.
Yes.
And we continue to give them aids. Can we mitigate this crisis? You can only pay salaries to the extent of revenues you generate.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you eliminate corruption, how much can Mali pay people? How much can Ghana pay people? Even if you eliminate corruption, how much can Nigerian pay people? And for as long as you are not able to pay people, and they understand how much they earn in other places, they will continue to go. Can you do Castro, the Castro model under Cuba? What did he do? Your certificate is in his pocket.
Yeah.
And until he released a certificate, you could not leave the country. Now, Nigeria has lost that argument in various ways because we now produce Nigerians that the state has not funded their education in nursery,